Greetings.
It's just a conversation. And in the building tonight, you have Minister Hayden, Brother Donovan. Brother Matthew. I'm missing Donovan, man.
Oh, man.
Man, he needs to hurry and come back and stop playing with our emotions. I'm seriously missing Donovan, yo. I'm missing Donovan. And our guest tonight, we have none other than Brother Rick.
Yay!
And also Evangelist Shaniel Hayden.
Greetings.
All right.
Wait, there's two Haydenson?
I don't know who's Haydenson, but
I said there's two Haydenson? Oh, in the building? Oh my goodness.
there's two Hayden in the building. Man, we ask you to mute your phone and put it on silent, please. Amen. And tonight, we're just having. Let me tell you something, man. It's. I was talking to somebody about faith and fear, and that's the reason why we came up with the topic tonight. Because sometimes you feel like your faith is so big, but then that fear kicks in, and you know it's Rick and Evangelist, you know, Shane, they overcame something that was real big. You know, that a lot of people passed away from it, and it's the big C. And you know, we're gonna talk tonight about, you know, what was the faith and the fear of everything. You know, because sometimes you feel like, you know, your faith is just so strong, but then that fear kicks in. You know, the Bible says faith is a substance that you are not seeing. You don't see it yet, but you hope. You know, you hope. And when you have that hope, gives you something to hope for. That it gives you something to rely on. It gives you something to lean on. And that hope is nothing but Jesus. And sometimes you go through some stuff and you have the faith, but you want to see it gets better. You want to see it to be something different. And you hope for it to be something different, but that fear kicks in and says, nah, it's not going to change. It's not going to happen. You know, so, tonight, you know, they're just going to talk about, you know, how they overcame, you know, with their faith and not the fear. You know, because the topic, you know, I came up with is like, do you think that faith is, fear is faith reverted? You know, so it's like, do you think like, you know, fear is like the backwards of faith or vice versa? You know, and, you know, I know Evangelist Hayden at Hodgkin stage 4, you know, and overcame that, you know, with nothing but God's, you know, healing hands. You know, and Rick, you know, I asked him this week what was his. He didn't even tell me. He didn't.
Yeah, I carry notes.
He carried notes.
Can't pronounce it.
So he got his notes. He said he can't pronounce it.
Can't pronounce it.
So
Wow.
yeah, tonight we're just gonna talk about, you know, pretty much faith and fear.
Right.
And we ask everyone to, you know, share the video. You know, let people know that we're here, we're talking about this thing. And also don't forget to go over to our YouTube channel, which is Just a Conversation. You know, subscribe. And also you can follow us on Instagram, which is just_a conversation. Amen. So, Rick.
Yes, sir.
Talk to us, man. Let me hear how did you cope with everything? How did you deal with it?
All right. So the big C.
Big C.
For me, it took me a while to even open up about it. It took me like 16 years.
Wow.
And then when I finally let it out, it was such a relief, you know what I mean? And then after doing so, it just come to me by words say, you know, you overcome by the
power of your testimony.
Correct.
Right.
So it started off when I was 16 years old. I'm 30 now. 16 years old. Actually 14. In Jamaica, with my mom, we play a lot, and she accidentally hit my neck. Start hurting like crazy.
Wow.
So other concern as a mother, you know, doctor. Actually Herb, then doctor. Then the doctor really don't know what go on, send me to a specialist. Specialist send me to a big hospital. And then from there, and see the little lump on my neck.
Wow.
So then did a little biopsy and test it out. Come back with a report, said to the Scott family, I'm sorry to say, but your son have cancer.
Wow.
Now, since we don't know the name, we have a little note here, so forgive me if not come out right. But the name nasopharyngeal carcinoma.
Alright, so
Sorry.
we're not gonna give you.
Yeah, no name. Exactly.
No name.
And anyways, they affect, even though it was in my neck, it affected like my nasal back and the area there.
And connect.
Correct,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So they put me on radiation for like 10 weeks.
Wow.
Under this big machine, they mark the areas, so they might try burn, because the radiation has some burn inside. Burn the good cells and the bad cell.
Wow.
Now, 14 years old, a young kid, I sit down like 10-20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
At the time, I wasn't a Christian. I was going to church because mommy, and you're in Jamaica, Sunday, you have to go to church.
Can't stay home.
You can't stay home. You hide the shoes, you go to church. I just saw it set up.
Right.
Anyway, so that was the case for that. So with that being said, weeks and weeks, keep doing this treatment, 10 weeks. After all of that, we keep seeing the doctor to do physical checkups. One day the doctor said, young man, I know you're strong and everything, but by seeing your back and forth, your body's not, can't handle it anymore. And
So he was giving up on you.
basically, you know,
Okay.
give me a week to so
live.
me I can live.
Right.
As much say, we have to do this to get rid of it,
Right.
but your body
Right.
is not coping with
And
it.
you were a young child then?
Yes.
Okay.
And my mom, as a Christian woman, she prayed. She asked church, you know,
Right.
entire church pray for me. They don't know me, but they pray regardless. Me, I didn't have faith. I go to church because, like I said, it's the family thing. Then I start developing faith because I have nowhere to go. I'm at the doctor every day. Why not?
Right.
So with that being said, after the treatments, things said everything is all right. I'm trying to make it as short as I can. The treatment gave me some mad side effects. As in, we can't eat or drink for like 6 months.
Jesus.
6 months in the home, we can't eat or drink. I mean, if you fight, literally a fight to drink water. It was that dreadful. Can't sleep at night time. In our house, I walk back and forth, a pace. If you get tired, if you sleep. Still not sleep. Morning come, I get a little dose. Wake up like 10 minutes after. That's my sleep. For months. I'm gonna say, I can't live my life like this. So I'm gonna start doubting myself.
That's where the fear kicked in.
That's when the fear really kicked in.
Right.
For me personally, because of that, I said, I don't want to live no more. I'm 14, I'm not really living a life yet. I don't want to live no more. Too much pain. What am I living for?
And that's how the enemy hits us, you know, he hits us right in the mind where he's gonna be like, you know, find an easy way to quit. You know, because if we think about the life of Jesus, Jesus fight for us. He fought for us.
He did.
And he just asking
He
us to pretty much do the same thing back for him. Like, your faith is nothing but really fighting. You know, the Bible says you have to contend for the faith, you know, which was once delivered. You know, so you have to fight every day. That's what the faith is. But then when that fear kicks in, it's just like you just want to throw your hands up.
Absolutely.
You know, and just give up.
Absolutely. It was so easy.
And it's really easy. Yeah.
It really is easy.
It's hard, you know. It's hard to do something, like continue to do something, but it's so easy to give up.
It is so easy because it was mad easy. I could throw in that towel all day.
Wow.
But it's good though when you're in those type of crises that people who surround you is God fearing.
That's right.
Who's willing to say, hey, no, I'm not feeling exactly what you are feeling, but my brother, I'm here for you. And just that, those words is a little encouraging.
Wow.
It is, because my grandmother was there. Mom was always there.
Right.
She was there till get at 9, but she was there.
Yeah.
But it was difficult for me, especially when I cook food I like.
And you can't eat it.
Chicken, all the can do, I smell it. It's like more I could have my nose, because Why me I smell chicken like that? And I can't eat it. Can't even blend it.
Oh God.
I would take the blend chicken if I could, but I can't. So, with all that being said, going back and forth with the doctor, things get better. Because after you're not giving up, because if you have a mindset of not giving up, your body will adjust eventually.
I believe in that.
I believe in that.
I believe in
I
that.
strongly believe in that.
If your mind is made up and your mind tells your body you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it, no matter what it is.
So my question to you, what took you? You said you reached a point where you don't want to kill yourself.
Right.
So what was that? And I do understand that. Yeah, having that good foundation with people around you,
Yes.
it can help you. But what actually took you to that point? Like, say, you know what? I'm gonna keep on fighting.
Keep on fighting.
And build up your willpower.
It was really my grandmother. I mean, my mom is always there, and I love her being there. But like I said, she was being annoying. My grandmother, very old-fashioned, and she always come there, and she always, encouraged me with the word of God, and she always take me aside. And sometimes she can be very rough, and sometimes she can be very soft.
Did the rough thing help you?
The rough thing helps.
Okay.
It helps a lot. Because the mother is always caring. Because she don't like him in pain, so she go, something you don't want to.
Like a mother would do.
Yes, you don't want to hear it all the time. It's a balance.
Sometimes you want somebody just push you and say, listen, get up.
Exactly. So
Get out of this.
I believe that's the case. But going back to the doctor doing the other tests, because after the radiation, we find out, say, hey, all right, so the cancer is diminishing and your body is slowly adjusting. You get better and better and better. But your mindset,
That's it.
mindset is still like wishy-washy, exactly.
Wavering.
Now, fast forward a little bit. God has healed me from the cancer. Everything is good. Yahweh, hallelujah. I've been to the church. I've really been to the church. In front of the church, and I was doing praise and worship. For all the years I've been going to church, I have never praised God the way I did that day. I was in the second row. It's old-fashioned church, a big old board chair there. We sit
Pew.
too long, like body
Pews.
Yeah, so then we had to simple praise and worship, and I was up, and I was in the midst of the song. I don't even remember the song. My hands was lifted. I'm starting to just remember when we've been through.
Oh, yes.
Tears was running. Everybody done praise and worship and sit down. And tears are run like river. And from this, so me know personally that I was saved.
Amen.
Right? And this come to tell you that when you hear people talk about God, it's all good and gravy. But when you experience it yourself,
The difference.
it's such a big difference.
Big
So
difference.
fast forward coming to America, I still feel a little weird within myself. I know that I overcome the cancer as what the doctor tell me. But when I used to do a checkup, they only go down, they might feel. This is all they do every time I go check up. I never do like an actual blood work, nothing like that. I guess technology wasn't that good in Jamaica at the time. Come here, find a doctor, finally, and say, you know what, the first thing, blood work. So they're wrong to take blood from you here.
They love your blood.
They love your blood vamps. So they come back with the result and they say, son, your thyroid level, I've never seen a thyroid level that high before. So I say, what do you mean? Because I understand what you're saying. He said, a normal thyroid level should be at least, I think it's a 0.4 or 4. Around that level. Very low. He said, son, your thyroid level is almost 300. He said, I do not know right now how you're standing before me with that height, with that level. that high. Because I was saying to myself, why they say, you know, I don't have cancer anymore. And I strongly believe that. And I know I don't.
You don't have it, right?
I don't.
That's right.
But why do I feel like this? My
Still
mind.
feels
It's
like-
your mind, though. Don't you
Yeah,
think
it's
a mind thing?
my mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like sometimes we feel like say your body will tell you certain things. It's like one, yes, the doctor has said one thing, but you're not fully sure.
Exactly.
And it's like sometimes you just need that extra check because it's like because your body, your body. So
But a lot of people go get that extra check, and you know what it come up as? Results nothing. It's your mind.
I'd rather find out
But
that
you're
it's
saying you rather
Absolutely.
find out it's nothing, but I understand that. But when you hear it's nothing, what do you do from there? What do?
You just take a breath and say, yeah.
A lot of times because you're still physically feeling symptoms of some
Yeah.
sort that you yourself
But,
can't
but
explain.
this is why. But this is why I really thought about it, because when I was here, I still feel in my mind that I still have those simple suicide thoughts. It was still coming back. Literally, I feel like it's not like I had a job. I was okay. But why am I still thinking that way?
Because, you know, the Lord did something so mighty for you, and the enemy noticed that.
Absolutely.
So what he's doing is using that same thought process to try and bring you back down. He's trying to use that to kill. No, when the enemy trying to kill you, he doesn't care what he has to do to get it done. That's his one accomplishment. He's trying to accomplish that. And, you know, when we understand, like, listen, the Bible said with faith of the mustard seed, you can move mountains, bro. You can do anything. You know, but then when that fear kicks in, man, why do we let the fear overtake our faith? And that's my thing. It's like,
But here's the thing, with fear, it doesn't come in when you're most calm, when you feel the greatest. It's usually when you're by yourself, and it's like certain just
when your mind has time to think out.
when you start think when you have too much time on your hands, and it's like the little things just start coming back, and it's like it just coming back, and then it's like it just randomly just hits you,
right?
And you try to figure out like how did I get myself back into that position?
It's true. It's like, let's say you're allergic to bun and cheese. And you love bun and cheese.
Yeah.
You're gonna keep
Right?
on eating it.
I keep seeing it. You're like, no, that will mess up my stomach later.
But you're gonna eat it.
But
So let
good
me
God in
just-
heaven, we have to have a piece of that.
Yeah.
And then go buy some Pepto-Bismol.
Exactly.
So you take a little piece.
You take a little piece.
But,
Yeah.
you know,
Even though you know the outcome. You know?
I remember one doctor said, used to tell me because them said I'm not supposed to mess with cheese.
Yeah.
when you're lactose intolerant?
No, not lactose because it used to mess
okay.
with my sinuses.
Okay.
But when you believe, say, a little can kill.
Oh, you're so
And it's like, and I believe that if you eat just enough, you can build up your tolerance to certain things. So it's like, so that was my mindset, and I feel like saying work out now, but saying at the time, it was. It's initially, I should have said.
So, you know, we heard, you know, the awesome testimony of, you know, Brother Rick. Now let's hear from Evangelist Hayden. You know, she had a similar, you know, thing, you know, and let's talk about faith and fear. Like, you know, when you were going through the process, you know, what kept you, you know, and then what's the fear that you struggled with?
You want me to start from the top?
Go ahead.
My story is that after I had my second child, I went to the doctor. He was about 3 months old, and they diagnosed me with Hodgkin's lymphoma. It was stage 3.
Amen.
What is that?
Hodgkin's lymphoma is cancer in your lymphatic system.
What that mean?
Your lymph nodes. You have a bunch of lymph nodes that run through your entire body, and it's like a sewage for your body. Then it carries toxins, push the toxins out of your body. You understand? It takes it from your blood and it goes through. Yeah, it's one of the. It's pretty much considered.
You know, I understand what the doctor definition of these words when they give to medical terms. Why don't they have a black version? It's so long.
Yeah.
And it's so confusing. And you try to call them, but your tongue is like this.
Ego.
Well,
Tell you the truth, I feel like that ego because.
And some of them are something so simple.
Yeah.
And they make it so heavy. You're like, come on, man.
well, I guess it's a name of a guy, Hodgkins, or something like that.
Sorry,
Yeah, I believe so. And lymphoma. You know, anything was say oma, usually is some kind of cancerous thing, and then the lymph represents the lymph nodes, so Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Preach it.
Anyway, long story short, I had to do chemotherapy. And that process is where it was so tough. I had my 3-month-old son. I could not nurture him the way I wanted to. I had to go do all kind of tests, and you know, they put all kind of radiation stuff in your body, and you can't go close to your child, and you know, it was very hard. I had 2 boys, and it was just tough. My husband had to work a lot. Can't stop work. He had to manage the household, and so I felt very much alone. I know there was a lot of people that would love to be there for me, but at the end of the day, I was the only one going through.
Absolutely.
I was the only one going through it.
Absolutely.
You know, I never told any of my friends. I only told the people that were extremely like right there, physically there, and somehow they're gonna know anyway. So it was pretty much my mother-in-law, my husband, my mom, and my brother and my sisters knew. None of my other friends knew about it. I didn't want anyone else to know, mainly because I don't want anybody to be like, oh my God, oh Lord Jesus, and because I know how I get when I hear certain news, and the first thing that comes to my mind is the worst.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to think of it that way.
Pity point.
Yeah, I don't want the pity, I want faith. Right now my back is against the wall. I don't have any choice. My option is do whatever the doctor say and pray.
Yes.
That was all I could work with. Where faith and fear was concerned, it was a tough battle for me. Every single minute of the day, the enemy just put all kind of stuff in my mind. Death was the number one thing that he placed in my mind. Kept feeling, you know, this fear and anxiety and this depression, and it was like a roller coaster of fear and doubt, and then I keep having to fight the fear physically, just fight the fear. Like every time the enemy come, I rebuke the enemy, and sometimes you feel so stupid. You feel like, really, you know? But at the end of the day, what other option did I have? You know, if the Bible says to resist the enemy and he will flee, I'm gonna do that. At the end of the day, may I do whatever the Word of God says. And so I kept reading the faith-building scriptures, the healing scriptures, and I kept going over them over and over. Sometimes I just felt like I was just repeating this thing, and I felt like nothing was happening. I was still going through the cycle, still going to do my chemotherapy, and still going through the whole process, and I was wondering, God, you know, what's going on? I cry out to God, and, you know, it was rough. It was rough, and my faith was truly tested. And but my part is every time I felt the pain, because I used to feel some serious pain in my chest and in my back, and the cancer was in my chest at the time, so it was growing so big between my chest and my back that every time I inhale it would hurt, and every night it would hurt, and it was just, I was going through a lot. And every time I feel a pain, I said, thank you, Jesus, for healing me. Thank you, Jesus, for healing. That's one thing I remember. I was consistent with every time I felt the pain. I said, thank you, Jesus, for healing me. I look in the mirror and I said, thank you. I remember when the 3rd month of my chemotherapy, I had this wig thingamajig, like I glued some hair down onto, I had very long hair at the time, and I was told by the doctor that my hair is gonna fall off and all of that. So by the 2nd month, I put this thing on, and it was like a glue cap wig thing. Right. And by the time it was time to come off, I just ripped it off like this. Everything came off. There was no hair on my head whatsoever. And I looked in the mirror, and the first thing that came to my mind was, oh my God, look at you. That's so sad. You know, oh my God, look at your face, look at your hair. You're bald and you're sick and you're, you know, all kind of sad stuff started coming to my mind, and I just said, you know what? I'm not gonna cry. I am not gonna cry. I never cried. I never shed a tear. I said, thank you, Jesus, for healing me. I was looking at my head like so fascinated, like this is crazy. I can't believe what's happening to me right now. You know, because that's nobody ever believes that's gonna happen to them.
Absolutely.
Nobody ever look at themselves and say, oh, you know, you're not gonna get that. So, but I just kept going. I kept going. I did not have a choice. I mean, I believe in that obia. I don't do those things. I don't believe in that whatsoever. I do believe that the enemy has his powers, doing his thing, just like, I was talking to Sister Julia today, and I remember Moses, and he dropped his rod, and his rod turned into a snake, and Pharaoh's people dropped their rod, and theirs turned into a snake, and they made the Red Sea red too, and they did, they had their little Chaldeans and their witchcraft workers and whatever, and they were doing their thing. The enemy has his powers. His powers are not greater than the powers of God, and so I trust God.
Yeah, God powers is like real, but they can only like.
Yeah, them can do a little thing here and there, but
like imitate.
God gave him whatever he has.
Yeah.
So why am I gonna go?
Because
that was not an option.
You said something, that really came. That really just said something to me. You said that you had no choice but to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
That is powerful. When you tell yourself that you have no choice but to keep going, that pushes you.
Of course.
And the thing that, I want, everyone that's watching, that's tuning in to understand, like, once you tell yourself that you have no other choice but to keep going, we sing this song, we're moving up the King's Highway, we're trusting in amazing grace. Although Satan is on my track, I will never look back. Don't be like Lot's wife that looked back.
Absolutely.
She looked back and she turned into a pillar of salt. But if we have that mindset that say, listen, through it all, I've learned to trust in God. I've learned to trust in Jesus.
Yeah.
And you keep pushing forward because you tell yourself you have no other choice. And your whole amplitude will change. Your worship will change.
Yeah.
Your lifestyle will change. Staying in the Word will change. Because you know that God single-handedly came down and touched you and healed you.
Yes, sir.
People might say, oh, the doctors did it, it was the cure. No, it wasn't nothing like that. God actually stretched down, took his time out.
Absolutely.
And healed you. Bro, I think, let me tell you something. I know where I'm coming from as a worldly person. And I see what God did in my life. And I tell myself all the time, I'm not going back.
No.
And it's a fight every day.
Question. I understand, say, your wife when I go through some things, mentally, physically,
emotionally,
because she wants to show affection to her kids and can't. Mm-hmm. How were you dealing with it? Because it's like, you have to, you can't be there at the time.
No one ever asked me that question.
It's really important.
It's really important, but you know what? No one never asked me that question.
It's the pity.
Yep. Everybody was more focused on her.
Pity punchy.
No one never looked at her like, wonder what he's facing. Wonder what he's going through.
Knowing that you have to take care of the kids. Because I know that my dad kind of did the same thing at one point when my mom had to do living jobs. So, how were you dealing with it, knowing that you have to take care of kids, listen to their problems, try to help them in
back
school?
Back then, I would say
also
the person that I was back then, you could not look at me. Even probably to this day, you can't look at me and understand what I have going on inside. I don't show emotions like that. I don't show that side of me. I don't show like the vulnerable side of me.
But here's the thing: there's a mental battle going on.
There was a mental battle going on.
So I'm trying to figure out how were you dealing with it, and what was your Christ walk like? Because it's like a lot of people will like be blaming God, like why is it happening to my
wife? That's true.
And it's like never blame God.
No.
I respect that.
Never blame God.
Oh,
I took it as a lesson learned. Like, listen, right now, she needs my support in all areas. I might not be able to be there physically, or I might not be able to be there emotionally, but some way or other, I am there. My presence is there.
Amazing.
And you know, I always used to feel like, sometimes when I look back at it, I used to always feel like I could have done more here, I could have done more there, I could have done more there. But when you're in that shoes and in that position, and you know that, okay, your wife is going to the hospital to do chemo, but guess what? I have an obligation, I have to go to work. You're at work at the same time and you're battling within yourself. At one point you want to just like, you know what, just walk out.
Of course.
But then when you walk out, what happens? You're going to lose everything around you. And I did not have like, I'm not going to say like my faith in God was like all strong back then. No, I looked at the physical things like, okay, every month my mortgage is due, every month my light is due, every month, so I have to be at work.
So you kept yourself busy.
I had to keep myself focused, you know, on taking care of everything else around, so she didn't have to worry about that. You understand what I'm saying? So even though I am not there at certain aspects, when you're going through something, my presence is there. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like, say, when you get up in the morning and you spray your cologne and you walk out of the house. You're not there, but guess what? That smell is there. So that presence is there. You know, and it's funny you ask that question, because like right now I kind of feel like, ooh. Because no one ever asked me that. And it was like something I never had to answer. And now answering it back, I'm looking in the back and like, you know, could I have done more? Yes. Did I do the best I could have at that moment? Yes. So was it a lesson learned? Absolutely. Yes.
This brings me to my next part of the same question. When she was in the lowest part, where it seemed as if you really question, like, yo, is she really? You ever question, like, yo,
no.
When she was really in her darkest point?
Never questioned.
You never questioned. I always believe that she was.
She never showed it.
She never showed it.
No.
A lot of people had no idea, you know. I remember back in those days, it was about 9.5 years ago, something like that. And those days, we just learned about lace wig. And I got, my mother-in-law bought me this full lace wig online, and it came down here, and little baby hairs, and it looked like my hair was growing out of my scalp, and nobody knew. Put on my makeup, and I got up and I went just the same. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't sit there crying. I couldn't allow depression to kick in. I couldn't allow certain things. You know, Prophetess Kelsa said something. She said, you don't know that you have faith unless it's tested. And fear drives faith. I'm sorry. Yeah, fear drives faith. And I believe that with all my heart. Because that's when the fear comes so much, that's when you realize that, oh my God, my back is against the wall. What else can you do? What? Fight or run? Which one? What are you gonna do? So I'm gonna try. Because
sometimes people hear people's situation, you know, and they must say, if I did me, would I do this and that?
Yeah.
It's easy to say it.
Exactly. It's not them.
It's not them.
But when it comes to them, now,
so in trouble, take your fitness shot, fit you.
Oh yes.
All right.
So until you facing that situation, you know, just like when someone loses a child and they go, boy, you know, and I'll feel it for you. You never been in that position, so don't tell somebody that you felt it for them.
You're sorry to hear, you're very sorry, and you know.
Sometimes if you don't have nothing good for say,
just don't say nothing.
Don't say nothing at all.
So my question is, right?
Yes.
It's kind of, because remember you said something about your grandmother was your
right.
rod of correction when you
correct
when you were really moving.
Yes.
And was in your darkest periods. What was your foundation that caused you to, Sister Shayna, that make you say, you know what, like help you to reach that point mentally where you say, I can't stop, and I have to keep on fighting.
What the breaking point was that caused me to say I have to fight?
No, it's not a breaking part. It's more like, you know how he said his grandmother was his pushing and helped him mold his mindset where I'm like, I can't give up and I have to keep on fighting.
Right. So basically, the husband is always there, and you're kind of used to his ways and everything.
My babies, and you know what? Not only that, God made me a promise. He promised that I was gonna get a daughter. I remember Apostle Nelson came to my house when we only had one child, my first son, my first boy. And he came to the house and he was praying up a storm, and then he said, oh, you're gonna have a daughter, you're gonna get a daughter. And I'm like, okay, all right, you know. And then I got pregnant and it was a boy. I was like, oh, So I knew I had a daughter coming. But that wasn't even the main thing, really. The main thing was I had a lot more work to do. I still do. I have a lot of work on the earth to do. And my children, them need their mommy, you know? And there's just no giving up. You can't give up. You have to fight until the end. You have
Absolutely.
to fight. There's just no giving up. Why bother? What's the purpose of giving up, you know? And at the end of the day, you can't even look at somebody and say, you know, I tried, I did my best, you know?
That's true.
Do your best. Do your best.
Your kids is definitely your. Because for me, I don't have no kids, and for me, I was
But it's
young.
your life. It's your
Exactly.
life. I mean, you can't purchase life. You can't put it aside for today and then take it up again tomorrow.
That's
It's your
true.
life. You only have one
Absolutely.
life, and you have to fight for it. Fight for it. God gave it to you. Fight for it. You know, the enemy's fighting for it. You fight for your life too.
Tell them, man, when
Fight for your life.
your back is against the wall, boy. Like,
You gotta come out swinging.
really
Yeah.
against that wall.
You gotta come out swinging.
You know,
Prophetess
'cause
Kelsa said,
not everything we go through, you can go through, and vice versa. You know? And it's just,
But you know, something I also learned too is that, like, a lot of stuff, like, you know, somebody, like, say, I can face something, and I might look at it somewhere different. When you go through it, it's totally something different.
of course.
Because everyone's mindset is not the same. Everyone's mind is not strong as the other
That's true.
person's mind.
That's right, and that's
You know?
and it's not a bad thing to a point. You
And I
know?
think that's why a lot of people give up sometimes. They just quit.
Well, that's true.
And God said He's not gonna give you more than you can bear. It's just that sometimes we just don't give ourselves enough credit. You know, you just don't think you can bear this because the news itself is too much, and then you throw your hands up on it. You're done.
Well, that's true.
You
But
quit.
to be frank with you, if my grandmother and mom wasn't there, my toe would have been down. Like, if it was just me alone, I'm telling you, I would
You would have given up.
I would have.
When I
Honestly.
listen to your testimony,
It's tough.
and when I listen to your testimony, when you sent it to me, I listened to your testimony, and I'm like, dude, there was so much fight in you. Like, people might, like, they're not going to hear it, you know, when you're giving your testimony, because you're so, like, you know, you're giving your testimony from deep down inside.
Okay.
And it sounded like it was just so much fight in you. You know,
The worst thing is that he was a child.
and you were a child, like 14.
You didn't have no
and then,
life
you know, it was just like
experience.
the guy that's the
I
motivational
know.
speaker.
You're a baby.
I
The guy
know.
that's the motivational speaker, he got like, remember he lost like his limbs and everything when he was young. Like he was born that way.
Yeah, he
and he
was
actually
born.
like, you know, he said he thought his mom would have been the most, you know, the support for him. It was actually his dad.
See?
You know, was really the support for him. And he said, remember one day, you know, he went to the bathtub and he's like, you know what, I'm done. I was going to drown myself.
Of course.
And he said, no matter what he tried to do, he couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it. And
And
he's
now
like,
he's
right
like
now, he's
the
like the
greatest
biggest,
out
he's
there,
like
yeah.
the biggest motivational speaker.
It's
So,
amazing, man.
you never know what you're gonna face in life, but you know your faith. You know, like Prophetess Kelsa said, you know that fear. You know, when the fear comes up around you and try to, like, you know, mess with your mind, let it drive your faith. Let it be the acceleration. That's like pressing on the gas can. Like, listen, okay, I feel you. I feel you coming on. But guess what? I know that God said in the Word that, you know, with just the faith of a mustard seed, I could move mountains. So with just thinking about that, I know I could defeat this.
And I
could
think
go
that's
through this.
all I had was mustard seed faith at the time. I promise you. It was no big old faith that I just said, oh, mountain move and mountain run out into the sea. It was not even close to that. It was a fight with that very small, very tiny faith. But he did tell you that that's all you need.
That's all you need.
Question. So, do you think because we're raised in a church in that sense, that kind of helped build that faith?
For me, personally, I think so. I believe so. And the reason why I said that, even though I was going to church and the church was just going for me.
So when you're young, that's what you do.
Exactly.
You're just going just to go.
But when your back is against the wall,
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a
Certain
different.
things
that's-
come back.
yeah, that's where your mind automatically you say, you know what? You just have, why does we have to lose? If your flip was flip, right? Wasn't going to church, I was just going to party, club, all these things. Don't know nothing about church. What else am I going to? unless someone mysteriously come there.
Right.
One day.
And say something.
But God working mysteriously.
Oh, yes.
So I can't really say entirely the church, but for me personally, yes, the church, because that's what made me have faith. That's what me leave for go
But
to.
you know one thing that I love with the Bible? You know, even though it says to have faith, it also says faith without works.
Is dead. There you go.
It is.
So you have to put that work in behind it.
You have to.
You know, you have to, you know, and it's just like this awesome sweater I'm wearing, talk about it, with the logo. He's the one that do it. He did it.
Yeah.
And you can have faith all you want and say, you know what? I'm going to have faith, I'm going to make t-shirts, I'm going to have a printing business, but guess what? You don't put the work behind it. In anything, man, God said, listen, man, you give me some works, give me something to work with.
I got another testimony.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little shorter.
No, go ahead, man.
Exactly.
It's a little shorter.
Go ahead, man.
So, coming here, first thing I come here, everybody say, yo, God school.
Right.
Please, God school.
Right.
Don't really jump in that job because y'all get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So we got this technical school, Macfeder Tech. Anybody know of it?
Yeah.
Alright, so I was good in computers from Jamaica. Come here, I see the program. I thought I was going to be a computer programmer. That was my mindset. I saw the program. For some reason, Mr. Graphic Art,
Wow.
that jump at me.
Plain as day.
I see so much of the computer stuff, and that, boom, was to make up.
Highlighted, yeah.
Like a shining like, oh, graphic design.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, all right, give that a shot. Do the engine course, pass the engine course, ready for do the class. In the class, then it's a testing groups. Everybody have an idea what Photoshop, whatever it is.
Right. The programs.
Me, this is me.
A blank paper.
Blank.
You know nothing.
Exactly. So, obviously, I'm going to be slow. So, with that being said, the teacher have the nerve to come to me and say, son, boy, I don't think you belong to the class here.
Oh, God.
Wow.
And I say, so when they come to me, I come tell them that time I spend my money. Work hard, my uncle above tile.
And that push you.
Forget little money, got the mother and father already have it.
Right.
To pay you or whoever.
And then you come tell me that
And you come
sing
tell
for
me, what kind of motivation that?
Your job is to teach me.
What kind of encouragement that?
Right.
Anyways, that being said, and give us the next project right after that to create a movie poster. I said, all right.
You gonna show them what time it is.
And I'm sleeping like that. I go home, right? I'm there on YouTube, Google, me there on everything that night.
Putting that work in.
Yeah, I putting that work in.
That's right.
Next year, come in a class, yeah, I read like me smoke 10 back of weed.
Wanna sleep.
And everybody present them movie poster, present whatever. So me finally go there, go present mine. And everybody done, everybody go sit down. We call them back up. We return in front of that class and say, everybody, please stand up. Everybody stand up. And he said, this is what a movie poster should look like.
Wow.
The man was so impressed with the movie poster I put in front of the school.
Same person that pushed you down
Then you
and the
get-
same person that lift you up.
Then he gets a little side job outside of the school.
And I use you.
guess who want to do it.
Hey! The one who didn't belong.
Exactly.
The rejected.
Exactly.
Wow.
The stone that the builder rejected.
So with that being said,
Cornerstone.
your mindset. Because I see it all the time, you know. The teacher tell you something like this, especially in Jamaica, in high school, because I see it. They say, yo, you're slow. You're not making men. Should I get angry? Walk out.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah, give
But
up.
you killed them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you have to look into yourself and say, yo, me not care what you are say to me, you
I'm
know.
gonna show you who I am.
Exactly. Me know.
Yep.
Say, yo, me come here for a reason. I'm not gonna waste my time, money, effort to walk out like that.
Bro, you just don't understand, like,
So,
you know, how much of us face that, like, coming up in school, you know, where it's like the teacher tell you, like, what X, Y, Z. But guess what? That's what you think.
yeah.
Guess
But
what?
these teachers
I'm
have
just
some
showing you what time
really
it is.
big balls for telling stuff like that still.
And they do it. But sometimes you have to wonder they do it because they know the potential in you. So
Possibly.
they're trying to flip a switch on.
Possibly.
And, what do you mean no?
The reverse
Reverse
psychology.
psychology, yeah.
No,
Oh, you think they just do it because that's them?
That they feel like that one.
them bad logic outside of work. No,
I don't think the people is wicked, man.
no.
Nah, I don't think so.
If no, believe that unless this is a psychology teacher,
Yeah.
rest of them can go on, man. Cause like I remember I had a teacher. To this day I can't remember her name, but she
You
said
can't remember her name because you never paid attention, right? They tried you. She
This is
tried
not
you.
teacher said stop coming and
Exactly.
waste my
Exactly.
time.
You tried, you don't remember her name.
But here's the thing, she old, and you know them old teachers when them get in them moods, and it's like I have a runny nose problem.
Had.
Yes.
I had a run. That's what I said, right?
Sinus.
Used to have, but it's fine.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was sinus issues, and I know I needed to get. But she's like, you can't do something about that, yo. It's like,
And she said it just like that?
she said it in a more meaner way, but
I'm sure.
I tried to clean it up.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was in middle school, and it's like it was a time when I didn't know what was going on with my health.
Right.
And it's like my nose always a run, and
Nasty boy,
it's like,
man.
and it's like me I try because I'm like always using tissue.
Right.
It's like you can't just bring your own tissue. It's not that I couldn't, but it's like it was there, so I was using it.
Using hers,
And
yeah.
it's like, and it just made me feel that way because it's like that was the time when I was very self-conscious.
Yes,
It was
yes.
really bad because it was to the point where it just run and I didn't know what was going on. And yes, my mom and dad like were trying to get me help, but it's like we still didn't know what's going on.
At that point, they can't
So
turn
it's
off.
like when she said that, and it's like
Just
I understand
question.
if it's a kid, you can deal with that to some extent, but it's when the people them who are supposed to be your guidance are the ones who are ridiculing you and
pulling you down.
and pulling you down.
Wow.
That's when it really like
Yeah, man, you feel ashamed of yourself.
it feels like there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I said some of them, some kids would just storm out.
I would.
Because they must say, oh, to everybody here, they understand it from the other kids and their peers, all that. They might expect it from that.
That's true.
Or when someone you look up to,
But it's always the people that you look up to, it's always the people that disappoint you.
I'm not gonna say other people that will look up. It's just one of the people who you expect to be more
Exactly.
wise.
Right.
Because she said she old. It's like not like I said she had a young teacher. She was old.
Old.
It's like you're
Like 90 years old.
soon is you got maybe 1 or 2 years left.
There you go.
It's like you're gone.
I'm still living.
We're not talking about dead wives. But it's like,
You ain't gone from school.
yeah, she retired. So it's like
Wow.
I'm like
Oh my
I
God.
expect them to been dealt with kids who were going through
calmly
situations
and all of that.
and be able to handle it better. Like take them aside. Like, are you doing all right? But she just in front of the whole class, like, what's
wow.
wrong with you?
oh, jeez.
So I'm like,
Markeisha, not. What's going on, my friend? I agree that at times a lot of people, especially educators, can look at you and see the greatness that is in you, and they try to break you to deter you from reaching your full potential. I am gonna like that, thumbs up, the whole works. I believe
they usually
and I
do that when
agree
you
that.
got a smart mouth, though. It's like,
I don't think so. I don't think it has nothing to do with your smart mouth. Bro, I do think a lot of teachers do see like the greatness in you, and they try to like, you know,
man, shit.
yeah, they try to like use like little words to kind of like kill you.
Usually, when I was in school, I knew a lot of people. They're not like the book smart, but they had a lot of talent otherwise.
Yes.
And not everybody's gonna be book smart.
And it's like because he was playful and he was a more. I respect any the kids them who are talkers in class because outside they're gonna do well, regardless of how bad them doing in school. them know, because as long as you know conversate, especially since I've been out of school, I noticed that conversational people are.
But that happens to a lot of athletes. A lot of athletes are not like book smart, bro. They just got talent.
Exactly.
Raw talent.
Usually when they know the kid is the smart one, the teacher will say the meanest things, and it's like make other people laugh. But you like when you look back, it's like, really, why are you embarrassing that kid like that?
That's true. So Kelsey's asking you guys a question, Evangelist Shane and Brother Rick. Do you expect to face a bigger battle than the one you overcame? Do you fear another situation similar to the first?
That's a good question. And absolutely, because the more you live, the more things is going to come your way. You can always have to overcome something. I believe that was my toughest bet, but I mean...
You don't know what's next.
And you don't know what's next. That's a mystery. I mean, I can leave you right now.
But do you think the fact that you overcame and you beat that, like anything else you face, like to me, I believe like whenever God put you through something or take you through something.
Oh, yes.
He put you through something and he's giving you like a lesson where like you go through something else. It's like,
and you're in
you
a
know
situation.
what? I got so much faith and so much strength right now. Like, this is a piece of cake.
Your wisdom changed.
Everything changes.
Everything changed. You know, you can't jump high enough, if anyone come in, you know, if you leap better.
That's true, boy.
You know, you come here, you know, instead you jump so. So that's kind of how that's set up. So,
what do you think, Evangelist?
I'm gonna be honest. It's a consistent fight for me. I honestly believe that the enemy uses the past and always try to bring it up somewhere, somehow, stick it in some conversation, stick it in the TV, and it's always something.
Especially
everywhere you go, you hear, this word, you know, and the C word here, the C word. I mean, you turn on the TV and every other commercial, they're advertising cancer this and you know, and so I'm telling you that it's something that comes back constantly in your mind, and you have to keep fighting and keep rebuking the thought. And if you get a headache, you worry and you start forgetting the feeling.
So when you guys hear that word, does it like bring like an emotional feeling over you or something?
Personally,
it kind of, yes, it does, especially the month. Because that's all you go see.
October,
Yes, that's all you see. And
breast cancer.
I'm see some lady breast that get cut off, like somebody take a machete and I'm like...
Yeah, somebody sent me a video like that on WhatsApp, and I looked at it and I go, bruh, like, don't send me this.
You know, it's
Come
just...
on, man. That's like,
and that's you.
Yeah.
And that's you.
But I'm saying, like, the even like the person that was videoing it was like, what was the message behind it? You know, it's like, I didn't see the message, I didn't get a message. It wasn't like, you know, like teaching, like if you're
just like more exposed.
Yeah, like if you're gonna show somebody that, like to me, like make it be somewhere somebody's getting a lesson out of it.
Absolutely.
You know, not just showing somebody like, oh, look.
And a lot of times, you know, we celebrate these things, and I'll never forget this saying, and I try so hard to just kind of keep it in my mind, where Mother Teresa said that she will never attend the anti-war rally. But if you're having a peace rally,
she'll go.
She'll be first in line.
Wow.
You know, and it's, what are you celebrating? Whether it's anti-war, pro-war, or not pro-war, the war is still the focus of the whole situation.
Just like sin.
Whether you're against it or not, it's still war. And if you know, so if we're going to talk about peace, it's about peace. We're canceling the negative and we're bringing in the positive. And so, you know, so I try to not celebrate this whole October, this and
pink thing.
I don't even want to hear the word. I try so hard to stay away from it, you know, and
then we might think like, you know, like stuff don't exist around us no more, and just like you just said about the anti-war and stuff like that. Because even like that actor that's on Empire, that young kid that's singing, you know, they literally, like, I guess 2 white guys just like beat the living crap out of him like a couple days ago, where he was in the hospital. And they were like, you know, like talking racial slurs and, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, because he's like homosexual. And I was like, wow, like, you know, you kind of like, because you don't see it, you don't believe it's still happening. But all this stuff is still going on around us,
Of course.
you know, and you know that's where people see these things and they say that could happen to a celebrity, it could happen to any one of us,
Absolutely.
you know, and that's where the fear kick in.
It reminds me of a friend of mine. He's in Marine.
Sometimes I gotta wonder about your friends, cause I think you be talking about yourself.
I didn't serve no time. And he was
Go ahead.
he's a retired Marine, and he's saying I can't watch movies that portray like
War.
and war. It's like because it just all that's doing is just cause post bringing
Yeah.
back up certain
To
things.
trigger certain things back for you.
Yes, he does understand that. Yeah, it's a means that to make you aware of what's going on, but at the same time, it's like I don't see myself sitting down here and watching it because like it's just remind me of my friends and people that I knew who went with.
And when you go through what those guys went through, like when you actually you seen people that's dying around you, it's like, bro.
You don't want to get reminded of that.
So much death is just like,
No way.
you know what I mean? Like, you know, we watch it on TV when, you know, you see like the war in Iraq and stuff like that, and you're like, John, like, yo, Patrick. But to actually be there physically seeing that, you smelling it, you know, you're smelling the smoke, the bombs,
and because that
messes with you.
Here,
Yeah, it's gonna mess up your mind.
That's a nightmare.
And they relive it every single night. They keep reliving the playing it out.
And that's pretty much what, you know, you guys are saying, like, you're living it, you know, and it's like Matthew said, you know, every time you feel something, you want to go check it out, but, you know, you always get that thing which is negative.
And maybe sometimes stuff like that make people go insane.
What? You know,
That's people come with the army and they keep hearing this stuff again. No,
that's why, like, if you see somebody that's like was in the military and, you know, people always say like military people drink a lot or whatever. You have no idea what that person has gone through. So please don't
And they
pass
become very
judgment.
violent.
People
They
love
become
doing
very
that.
violent.
It's like the first thing people want to do is judge you.
Yeah.
You don't know what this amount of
You don't know what that person been through. You don't know what they're facing.
Judge not, man.
And then when you look at yourself and thinking that yourself could go through that and come out and be like, oh, like I'm so perfect. No. Your mind is a battlefield within itself. And every day your mind is just, your mind is consistently moving. It's like a motor.
Yeah.
And anything that you have seen, anything, it like burns a picture in your mind.
Exactly. But imagine your mind is still burning even when you're sleeping.
When you're sleeping.
Because your mind should be resting at that time. And people keep trigger certain things they've been through.
Sometimes you go to bed and you hear like a song, like on the TV or something, you fall asleep. You wake up in the morning like singing the song.
Exactly.
And your mind been focusing the whole night. You know, my wife used to always say something to me like, yo, you know when you sleep at night and the TV's on, your mind is still trying to focus on the TV although you're sleeping. And I never really took pretty much up like, man, whatever, TV just make me sleep. Until like one day I'm like, yo, why am I so restless, bro? And then I keep hearing like this stuff in my head, and it's like everything that was like this song I heard before I fell asleep is like popping in my head. I just keep singing it over and over, and I'm like, yo, your mind is just like it's an awesome tool, but it also could like drive you to this like
you have to know your limits.
It's true.
There's no limits.
It's true.
And that's why you see people just want to try things, they do things, you know, you see people like I don't judge people, man. I used to I used to be like, yo, man, what you there for? Like no, like until you like actually hear some people's stories and see what they've been through, you know, it's not good to like pass judgment.
Yeah, your mind is like a memory, right? Like
it is a memory.
All right, it is.
Yeah.
But imagine a memory that keep getting stuff. Like you go on the internet
Recorder.
and you keep downloading stuff that you're not downloading.
Right.
In the background you keep piling up to the full and computer starts shutting off. Imagine your brain now keep getting negativity, and now often like almost every day. Eventually it's gonna pop.
That's true. And that's why people always hear some sick
people have stroke.
People lose their mind or they doing this. You know, it's the reason why, man. They've seen a lot. Good night to you, Missionary Linton. Praise Jesus. Praise Jesus. Well, you know, tonight we're talking about faith and fear. You know, and you know we have two awesome guests tonight. You know, we're talking about what they've been through. You know, they beat the big C, they beat cancer.
Just a cancer, it's not like, the word can be misconstrued. So
that's true. All right, so they beat cancer, And, you know, they're here tonight just giving their, you know, they were talking about their testimony, the faith, you know, the fear, you know, the stuff that they faced, the stuff that they saw, the stuff that they've been through, you know, and, you know, we're just talking about that tonight, just saying that your faith should always be stronger than your fear. And sometimes, you know, your fear also pushes your faith, you know, to a different level. So, you know, Brother Rick, any final words?
Yes, sir. Believe it or not, I'm mad nervous.
Why?
First episode. I know I don't sound like it. I know I don't look like it, but the foot will shake.
Wow.
But
you would never tell.
No, but you have to know to overcome certain things, just like we're talking about.
Your fear. See, that's
See,
that's good.
There's many ways of overcoming anything. Anything at all.
You were nervous, huh?
No, I was.
Wow.
I was, but you don't see it, you have to cover it. But
this is a strong young man, and he had cancer at the age of 14, and you know he fought it.
God be the glory.
Amen.
Great things he has done and still is doing. Because when you heard it, when I first said my testimony and I posted on Facebook, the devil was like, wait a minute, this guy, why would he say all that now?
Right.
Next day when I went to work, right? Leaving work, coming home in this mud traffic. We are driving, that type of traffic. For some reason, we stop on this bike, man, and then right after issue, me I move off, and then me a lightning strike. Me going like, we not fall, cloud in the dark. What's going on? Light wire dropped up on the car.
Wow.
Oh my God.
I'm going to drive off immediately. Right. Me shook and I'm like, because I could be electrocuted. So I said, what is going on here?
God have mercy. The prince of the power of the air, I tell you. Always trying to get God people.
Right, exactly.
Always out
But
to you.
with that being said, when stuff like that happen, it means that you have to do something good.
Of course.
Because the devil's like, yo, we need to cut you.
Exactly.
That's what I'm going to try to do. Or at least put a fear on you, for, something.
To give up.
Exactly. But never give up. If anything we can stop or leave off here saying is don't give up.
That's true.
Anyone who's going through what we've been through, similar, or go through some sort of pain, it doesn't matter. Don't give up.
Don't give up.
Please do not give up.
Fight.
Change your mindset. Change your mindset of, oh God, go on, die, or whatever.
Right.
Whatever negative, change to positive, please. And if you cannot change to positive, find someone who will help you.
Yeah, surround yourself with someone.
Surround yourself with people who will support you genuinely. Pray with you, whatever. Because it helps. Because it's never good to be alone when you're down the most. So that's I don't know if I'm final 2 cents, but that's some cent.
Amen.
All right.
Evangelist Hayden.
You know what?
Words.
I just have this little scripture. Please forgive me.
No, go right ahead.
Go ahead.
And I'm just gonna say it out and just think of it personally. And it says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest,
that's right.
whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure,
that's the part I love.
whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are good, of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. Put it here, put it in your mind, renew your mind daily. This is something I'm doing even now, because I'm telling you, the enemy is trying so hard to get me to, I'm telling you, the past, he tries to bring your past up. Every other day, he tries to bring it up, and I'm battling right now in my mind. I know the battle is in the mind, and whatever is in your mind is going to manifest in your body and in your life. And the Word of God is saying that whatever things are of good report, these are the things that we are going to think of. Think on these things. Think on these things, Those things which you have both learned and received and heard and seen in God, in Jesus, His examples. right? And the God of peace shall be with you. And this is my final word.
That's great, man.
Man, that's an awesome final word right there.
Yeah.
And you know, as always, this is just a conversation every Tuesday at 8 p.m. We're here live on Facebook.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. This is episode 15. You know, the first one for you, all you were nervous, episode 15. And,
man.
you know, if you need any printing,
Oh, Lord.
man, let me tell you something. This sweater, he made it for me. You know, it's the logo that we have, just a conversation on the arm. It says, talk about it.
Yes, sir.
I'm just hoping after well, not hoping, I'm praying that after he sees what we're doing, you know, we have a beautiful whiteboard behind him, he'll come and hook us up.
All right, no
you know,
problem,
deal with
man.
us
No
and,
problem.
and, you know, support us.
Oh, is that nice?
You know,
It is pretty nice.
yeah, and support us 100%.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
so
Yes,
we're
sir.
supporting
Yes,
him
sir.
back also. You know, hit him up. His name is Rick. You know, I
Mr.
from
Print.
day one I thought of Rick T-shirts, but he has a Mr. Print on his hat. So I don't know if you want to tell the people how to get in contact with you.
All right.
I told you to send me an Instagram, you never sent it. But I know you can find him on Facebook as Rick.
Yes, sir. You can find me on my Instagram as Ricky. It is RICKY underscore design underscore. That's where you find me.
Okay.
I post a lot of stuff on there. I do a lot of speaking too.
Right.
And, you know, just to encourage people. Because sometimes people just need to be reminded. You know, simple things matters.
Simple things are your blessings.
Simple
That's
things
something I
matter.
always say. Simple things are your blessings.
Simple
It's not
things
the
matter.
big house, it's not the car, but the fact that you could
Nah, man.
just breathe
Yes,
is a blessing.
the fact that you can quench your toe, you're good.
That's true.
Simple
So,
things matters.
you know, if you can't remember that, you know, Ricky underscore
Designs
underscore.
That's it.
That's it.
Oh, that's it. So
Yeah.
it's Ricky
It's
underscore
pretty easy.
design underscore on
There you go.
Instagram. You know, you can hit him up. If you can't remember, shoot us an inbox. You
Yeah.
know, hit us
Yeah,
up
we
on
got
here.
you, we got you.
know, and we'll make sure he gets it. Reach out to him.
How do you
You know,
spell?
it's RICKY
Correct.
underscore designs.
Yes.
So don't forget to go over to our YouTube page, Just a Conversation, like, subscribe. You know, don't forget you can check us out also on Instagram, just underscore a conversation. I appreciate for everyone that's on here tonight. You know, I can't really see everyone. I don't know what's going on with this computer, man. I just need to.
Before we go though, it's like, are those shirts for sale?
We'll get to that in the future. But as right now, I am just
I think the guests need to
supporting.
get a shirt.
I'm
my
supporting
God.
our thing. I'm
Yes, sir.
supporting it. You know, if you want to support it, by all means, hit us up. We'll make.
The guests need to get a free
Reach out
shirt.
to us on
What
our
guess?
Problem.
I gave you one.
On that one?
Seriously. Wow.
So you never tell me when we wear it tonight.
I should have to tell you the word. You knew you was coming on here.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Thank you. The one that you made for her and put in the back hashtag talk about it. I can't believe
My
she just said
bad.
that.
Yeah, and you could be doing like this right now.
Yeah, spin it in the back in the old word.
Lord,
You know,
Jesus,
so-
my bad.
Somebody please pray for her. Pray
Lord,
for her. Pray
please,
for her.
hallelujah.
If you're interested, just
I'll take the
hit us
purse.
up.
Hit us up, man. We got you. And don't forget, every Tuesday,
aye.
it's been real. Just a conversation where we just talk about it. God bless you. Love everyone for that tuned in. You know, the questions I was asked, appreciate the questions. You
It's
know,
wonderful. It's wonderful.
it was awesome. Awesome conversation, man.
Yes.
Faith over fear. Let the fear pushes your
Yes.
faith.
Please share.
Please share. You know, don't just keep it to yourself. Let people hear about it. Let people understand that, you know, we're out here doing some good things for
Right,
the Lord.
right.
This is podcast 15. Mr. Rick is in the house. Like I said, you can find him on Ricky underscore designs underscore. God bless you until
Yes.
next Tuesday. It's been real.
All right.
You're right. All right.